Today I command my energy. I do not waste it proving, pleasing, or explaining, because every time I chase someone else's approval, I abandon my own power. This morning I remind myself that I am not here to be understood by everyone, agreed with by everyone, or liked by everyone. I am here to walk in alignment with who I truly am. The moment I start bending myself to fit expectations, I fracture the strength that makes me whole. My energy is sacred, limited, and incredibly valuable, and I refuse to trade it for acceptance from people who don't even understand my purpose. I am not a product of their opinions. I am the result of my decisions, my discipline, and my self-awareness. I don't owe explanations to those committed to misunderstanding me, and I don't seek applause from those who never clapped when I struggled. The need to prove is a trap, and today I choose freedom instead. I understand now that peace is not something the world hands me. It's something I must fiercely protect, like gold. Every time I say no to distractions, drama, and emotional debt, I say yes to clarity, confidence, and calm. I am no longer emotionally available for guilt-based conversations, people-pleasing cycles, or the exhausting chase for validation. I don't defend who I am. I live who I am. That is enough. Because the most powerful energy I can carry today is quiet certainty. The kind that doesn't argue, doesn't beg, doesn't explain. It simply moves forward. And that is what I choose. I command my day, my mind, and my energy. I move with quiet confidence and unwavering boundaries. I am no longer accessible to things that drain me. My peace is my power, and today I wear it like armor. Number 2, I am not who I was yesterday. I'm wiser now, and that wisdom is my new foundation. Because every experience, every setback, every heartbreak, and every moment of confusion has carved something deeper into me that no textbook or teacher ever could. I've walked through nights of doubt and days of silence, and though I may have stumbled, I never stayed down. I learned, I listened, and I rose. Yesterday's version of me didn't know what I know now, didn't see as clearly, didn't set boundaries as firmly, and that's not something to regret. That's something to respect. Growth doesn't always come with applause or recognition. Sometimes it shows up as a quiet moment where I choose differently, respond more calmly, or simply say, no more. That's wisdom. Not loud, not boastful, but deeply rooted. Today, I don't define myself by who I used to be, because who I was served its purpose. That version of me got me through tough chapters, made tough choices, and kept showing up even when no one else saw the battle. I honor who I was, but I no longer carry the weight of outdated narratives or the guilt of past mistakes. I've outgrown the need to explain my evolution. I don't owe the world an apology for healing, for choosing better, for becoming someone they didn't expect. I walk forward, not with arrogance, but with grounded strength. Because when you've lived through enough storms, you stop trying to be understood and start being unshakably yourself. I've traded reacting for responding, needing for choosing, and rushing for trusting. I'm not chasing what I once chased, because I see now what truly matters. Peace over drama, depth over attention, and growth over comfort. That shift in vision is wisdom, and I wear it like armor. I've learned that the most powerful transformation doesn't shout. It simply moves differently. I move differently now, not because I'm better than anyone, but because I'm better than who I used to be. And that's the goal, not perfection, not applause, but progress. So today, I walk on a new foundation, not of fear, not of doubt, but of hard-earned wisdom. And every step I take on that foundation echoes a truth I've come to fully believe. I am not who I was yesterday, and that is my greatest proof of growth. I do hard things, not because they're easy, but because I'm built for them. And every time life presents me with a challenge that stretches me beyond my comfort zone, I remind myself that discomfort is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of transformation. The easy road never made anyone extraordinary. It's the hard roads, the uphill climbs, the uncertain path that forge unshakable strength. I don't fear the struggle anymore because I've realized that struggle is proof I'm in motion, that I'm not stagnant, and that I'm pushing past the limits that once held me back. I was not made for convenience, I was made for purpose. And purpose often comes dressed in resistance. Every time I choose discipline over distraction, resilience over retreat, and courage over comfort, I am proving to myself that I am stronger than any excuse, bigger than any obstacle, and more powerful than any doubt that tries to creep in. There will be days when the weight feels too heavy and the way forward seems unclear. But even in those moments, I rise. Not because it's easy, but because quitting would mean betraying the strength I've spent years building. I no longer wait for things to be perfect or for motivation to strike. I move forward because I've trained my mind to see difficulty as a gift. Discomfort isn't a wall, it's a doorway, and walking through it is how I grow. I've learned that resilience isn't loud, it's the quiet decision to keep going when no one's watching. The relentless commitment to keep showing up when everything inside says stop. My body may ache, my mind may doubt, but my spirit refuses to break. I've endured enough to know that pressure creates diamonds, not excuses. The hard things don't intimidate me anymore. They call me to rise, to dig deeper, to step into the highest version of myself. I've already survived what I once thought would break me, and that truth alone gives me the courage to keep going. So today, when the hard things come, and they will, I'll face them not with fear, but with fun, because I am not looking for easy. I'm looking for growth. And I am built for this. Number 4, I am not waiting for permission. I move with purpose and permission from within, because I finally understand that no one else holds the keys to my destiny but me. I no longer wait for validation, for a green light, or for someone to crown me worthy. I already am. Too many dreams have died in the waiting room of approval. Too many gifts buried beneath the fear of rejection, and I refuse to let that be my story. I'm not here to meet other people's timelines, check their boxes, or live small so others feel comfortable. My life is not a democracy of opinions. It's a personal mission, and I have already voted yes. I've wasted time shrinking myself, second-guessing my intuition, and dimming my light to avoid judgment, but now I realize that playing small doesn't serve me, and it doesn't serve the world. I don't need anyone to co-sign my vision when I've been given the blueprint in my soul. I trust my voice, I trust my instincts, and I trust the timing that rises from within, not the noise that echoes around me. Every time I wait for permission, I hand my power to people who don't even know my purpose, and I can't afford to do that anymore. I've learned that courage isn't loud approval from the crowd. It's the quiet decision to back yourself even when no one claps. I am not interested in fitting in. I'm here to stand out, speak up, and take up space. My worth isn't something to be negotiated. It's something I walk in, and that means when doubt knocks, when delay tempts me to hesitate, I remind myself I've already been chosen. By the fire in my gut, the vision in my mind, and the strength in my spirit. I don't need permission to lead. to start, to evolve, or to take up the space I was born to fill. I no longer wait for the world to say go. I say it to myself every morning. Go forward. Go, because the only permission I'll ever need has already been granted. By me. To me. And that is more than enough. Number 5. I attract people and opportunities that match my highest standards. Because I've learned that what I tolerate is what I invite, and I refuse to keep opening the door to anything that drains, disrespects, or diminishes me. I am no longer available for half-hearted connections, inconsistent energy, or environments that make me shrink to fit in. My life is a reflection of what I believe I deserve, and every time I raise my standard, I send a message to the universe. I am ready for more. I don't chase. I align. I don't beg. I elevate. The people and opportunities that are meant for me will never require me to betray my peace, abandon my values, or lower my frequency. I no longer romanticize struggle or tolerate dysfunction just to feel needed or wanted. I'm not impressed by presence. I'm moved by consistency, integrity, and emotional maturity. And that shift in what I accept is the reason I continue to rise. Because the truth is, growth requires letting go. Not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. You rise by deciding what you will no longer tolerate. The conversations that drain you, the relationships that confuse you, the habits that dull your shine. When I clean up my boundaries, I cleared space for better things to enter. I realize I don't need a crowd. I need alignment. I don't need constant attention. I need mutual respect. I don't need endless opportunities. I need the right ones that mirror the energy I bring. I am not afraid to walk alone if it means walking in truth. Because the right people and doors find you when you're no longer willing to settle for less. So each day I carry myself like someone who deserves the best. Not from arrogance, but from self-awareness. I've done the work. I've faced my patterns. I've raised my bar. And now I magnetize what matches that frequency. I don't tolerate chaos disguised as passion or confusion dressed up as potential. I've upgraded my life by upgrading my standards. And the results speak louder than any explanation ever could. I attract what I reflect. And what I reflect is strength, clarity, and undeniable worth. Number 6, I am not my past. I am the architect of my next chapter. Because while my history may have shaped me, it will never define me. And I refuse to be chained to old versions of myself that no longer serve who I'm becoming. My mistakes, my regrets, my missteps, they are not life sentences. They are lessons. And I honor them not by reliving them, but by building something better from them. I've walked through storms, but I refuse to let the rain from yesterday flood the promise of today. I've been broken, but I'm not broken. I've been tested, but I'm not defeated. I've stumbled, but I never stopped moving. And that's the power I carry now. The power of choice, of direction, of authorship. I no longer sit on the sidelines of my own life, waiting for things to magically shift. I take the pen in my hand and write the next line with boldness. I don't need anyone's permission to rewrite the narrative, because healing is not about forgetting the past. It's about refusing to be held hostage by it. I am done repeating chapters out of guilt, fear, or comfort. I'm not here to relive. I'm here to rewrite. The next chapter will not be built on shame, but on strength. It will not revolve around what I lost, but what I've learned and what I now demand from life. I've discovered that the most powerful sentence I can write is, "This is not how my story ends." Because it isn't. I've outgrown old patterns, outlasted old pain, and outlive the version of me that once thought survival was enough. Now I want more: peace, purpose, joy, fulfillment. And I know it's mine to create. I refuse to live in rewind. I refuse to hand the pen to my past. My future deserves a version of me that's present, awake, and unafraid to imagine something greater. So today, I remind myself my scars are not shameful, they are proof I made it. My detours are not failures, they are reroutes to something better. And my story? It's still unfolding, still powerful, still mine. I hold the pen now. I am the architect. And the best chapter begins today. Number 7. I choose focus over noise, clarity over confusion, and mission over mood. Because I understand now that my power lies in what I give my attention to. And in a world constantly screaming for it, I've learned to listen only to what aligns with my purpose. I no longer allow distractions to derail me or emotions to dictate me. I've built a discipline to stay locked in even when my feelings beg for an escape. My goals don't care if I'm tired, if I'm doubting, or if I don't feel like it today, and neither does my future. I don't chase motivation anymore, I chase meaning. I chase the life I know I'm capable of living, and that requires focus. Ruthless, intentional focus. The noise will always be there. People's opinions, social media scrolls, internal doubts, temporary temptations. But I've decided to rise above the noise and live in alignment with what truly matters. Clarity doesn't always come naturally. Sometimes you have to fight for it by cutting through the chaos and getting brutally honest with yourself about what you want and what you're willing to do for it. I no longer glorify being busy or distracted. I honor being clear. I am done living scattered, done pouring into everything and getting nothing back. I've set a new standard. If it doesn't support my vision, it doesn't get my energy. If it doesn't align with my mission, it doesn't get my time. I've learned that success isn't just about talent, it's about the discipline to prioritize what matters when everything else is trying to pull you away. And yes, there will be days when my mood tries to sabotage my mission, when my emotions whisper lies like, it's not working, or you're not enough. But that's when I double down, when I get quiet, and when I return to my focus. Because focus is my freedom. It's what keeps me grounded when everything around me feels unstable. It's what builds momentum when nothing feels certain. What I prioritize becomes my power. And today, I choose to be powerful. I choose to be focused, clear, and committed. I don't let the noise decide for me. I decide for myself. And that decision, made daily, is what separates who I used to be from who I'm becoming. Number 8. I can be both grateful for what is and hungry for what's next. Because I've come to understand that duality is not conflict, it's strength. And I don't have to choose between appreciating the present and pursuing the future. I've stopped feeling guilty for wanting more, just because I already have blessings. Because true gratitude isn't complacency. It's the foundation that fuels growth. I'm deeply thankful for the lessons I've learned, the people who've stood by me, and the progress I've made. But that doesn't mean I'm done evolving. Gratitude is not the finish line, it's the launch pad. I can sit in this moment and say, I'm proud of how far I've come, while still looking ahead with fire in my belly and vision in my heart. Wanting more doesn't mean I'm ungrateful. It means I honor my potential. It means I see the bigger picture. And I know I was made for something beyond comfort zones and past wins. I don't chase more out of lack. I chase more out of alignment. I know I'm capable of deeper fulfillment, greater impact, and a life that stretches every ounce of my being. And I won't apologize for that hunger. I no longer shrink my ambitions to appear humble, because real humility is recognizing your gifts and choosing to maximize them. Gratitude grounds me, it keeps me present, keeps me joyful, keeps me whole. But hunger keeps me moving. The two aren't opposites, they are allies. One keeps me centered, the other keeps me climbing. And in that balance, I thrive. I don't compare my journey to anyone else's or rush the process, but I refuse to stay stagnant when I know growth is calling. I can honor this chapter while building the next. I can love where I am and still believe in where I'm going. That is not conflict, that is clarity, that is power. That is the energy I choose to wake up with. Eyes wide open to the blessings I already hold, and a soul wide open to the expansion I still seek. I am not finished, not even close. And that's not because I lack peace. It's because I live with purpose. Gratitude is my anchor. Hunger is my engine. And together, they make me unstoppable. Number 9, I am not available for anything that costs me my peace. Because I've learned that peace is not a luxury. It's a necessity. And anything that threatens it is too expensive. No matter how familiar, tempting, or emotionally charged it may be. My peace is not up for negotiation, and I no longer feel obligated to explain that to people who benefit from my discomfort. I used to make myself too accessible, to chaos, to guilt, to conversations that went in circles, and to people who only showed up when they needed something, but not anymore. My availability is a reflection of my self-worth, and when I began to value myself more, I realized that not everything or everyone deserves access to my time, energy, or spirit. Just because I can handle stress doesn't mean I should allow it. Just because I can keep the peace doesn't mean I should sacrifice mine. I don't engage to prove a point, to fix what's broken in others, or to maintain connections that deplete me. If it disturbs my inner calm, drains my joy, or disrupts my alignment, it's a no. Unapologetically. I now understand that peace isn't passive. It's a boundary, a discipline, and a choice I make every day. It's not found in silence or escape, but in the strength to walk away from anything that doesn't serve my higher self. I refuse to spend my life emotionally babysitting dysfunction or carrying the emotional weight of people who refuse to carry their own. My boundaries are not walls, they're gates, and I choose who enters. I don't owe access to people just because they've known me for years, share my blood, or expect the old version of me to show up on command. Growth means I release what costs too much, even if it once felt necessary. I protect my energy like currency, and peace is the highest return on investment I can ask for. I don't argue anymore. I don't over-explain. I don't engage with emotional chaos. I just exit. Silently, calmly, completely. And in that silence, I hear the loudest message of all. I am worth protecting. So today, and every day forward, I choose peace. Not as a reaction, but as a declaration of who I am and what I deserve. Number 10. I am already enough. And still, I rise to become more, because I no longer believe that growth must come from a place of lack, or that I need to feel unworthy in order to be ambitious. I've spent too long confusing self-improvement with self-criticism, chasing goals not to expand but to fill a void, until I realized the truth. I was never broken, never lacking, just evolving. Now I understand that self-worth and ambition are not enemies, they are powerful allies. I rise not because I'm incomplete, but because I'm ready.